I've been having a ton of fun with Path of Exile too. And I don't know if it's because it fits so well with my schedule or it's generally just one of the better games I've played in a long time. And there's no script for this. I don't really like scripts. And I have nothing personal against them, but I'm at work all day and then I come home and then you want me to write a script for a video. That feels like a lot more work. So why would I go from work to work? It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I've been playing Path of Exile 2 since early access when it first came out. And me and my buddy Dominic have been playing it on and off on our dad schedules. And as you guys know, dad schedules aren't, I would say, super consistent, because you have a baby, and I have a 7-month-year-old and he has a 8-month, so it actually works out pretty well. And but yeah, we've been gaming. I want to say I am in Act 1 of Cruel difficulty, maybe about halfway through it. I'm playing a Invoker Monk, and it's been fun, man. It's been really fun. It reminds me a lot of Diablo 2 in a way, where there's like not any pressure, if that makes sense. And maybe it's because that's how I play video games now, is in a less casual, in a more casual form, versus before I played more in a hardcore setting, semi-hardcore. And I have nothing against it, but like it kind of burnt games out for me. So for example, this happens a lot with me with World of Warcraft. So and this happens with a lot of people, I'm sure. So with World of Warcraft, you're playing, let's say a new expansion comes out, you're really amped for it. So what do? You slam leveling, right? You try and level to endgame as fast as humanly possible, right? You want to start doing Mythic Zeros, and I think this time around Mythic Zeros weren't even out right away, but you try and rush your character. And I've been guilty of this, and that's what I stopped doing once I had my daughter, man. And it's just, I think it's made gaming a lot more fun for me, and that's what I've done with Path of Exile 2. Like I said, I'm not even in endgame yet, so I haven't even hit mapping, but I'm also not burnt out on the game, and I've been playing since early access. Now, I can't say how many hours I play a week. I want to say I'm probably around 40 hours now of total playtime, and yeah, I haven't hit endgame, but I'm still having a really good time. Now, the skill tree was and still is pretty overwhelming in the sense of like, I feel like you can't really pick what you want. I did in the beginning, and that was the narrative that was spun with Path of Exile 2. They said it's going to be more beginner friendly, and I definitely think it is when it comes to skill gems and like those skills. You don't have to do that crazy linking system anymore that was on your armor. What's on your armor now and your weapons are runes, and I think that's a lot cleaner. But the big atlas is still, well, it's massive, but the way that I think of it is just, it's just passive skills, and that's really all it is. What I don't like about it is the fact that that narrative that was spun that you can kind of pick what you want is not true, at least in my experience. So I had to refactor my character, and I had to do this because I was hitting a wall. Now, you could say maybe my build was bad or I picked a bad build, but the whole narrative that was spun for Path of Exile 2 is it was more new player friendly, casual friendly. You don't have to follow a guide. And I got pretty far in the game just doing my own build, and I actually lucked out that the skills and the passives that I was picking weren't far off from an actual build, because that part was intuitive. But then I hit a wall, and then I had to refactor. I keep on saying refactor, but I had to essentially redo my skills, and that was really expensive. So I think they really need to either increase the gold amount a lot more or make it cheaper to upgrade to de-skill, because that's still fairly expensive. Itemization still feels kind of weird, and I do feel a little lost. What is nice and a good tip that I found, at least for DPS upgrades, I've only looked at this on a weapon, but like if you open up your skills that show like your gems and everything, and you equip your weapon, I imagine this works for armor stuff too, but if you equip your weapon, you can see your DPS increase or decrease, so you can know if it's an upgrade or not. A lot of the time though, I still find myself not sure if this is going to be an upgrade or if I can eventually make this into an upgrade. So my stash tab looks like vomit. It's not great. It's not my favorite. It feels like I will stop doing this as I learn how itemization works better in the game. But until then, I feel like I'm hoarding items. Now, there are some blatant items that I just outright disenchant. And that kind of leads me to the currency, because the currency is crazy. There is so many currencies. And now I'm not trying to bash the game. I'm just trying to give you my experience of the game. Okay. The currency, there is so much currency. I don't know it all. And what's nice is in game, I don't know if they did this in Path of Exile 1, but in Path of Exile 2, you can go to a vendor in, I think this is once you hit cruel difficulty, because my buddy Dominic, he wasn't able to see the vendor, or at least the currency, but you can convert currency in the game. That kind of gives you an idea of like Divine Orb is better than Exalted Orb, and orbs of like augmentation or transmutation are like some of the lowest tier items, which you could probably tell that those were lower tier items because you're getting so many of them. And then you say like, okay, regal orbs are above that, so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying it. I feel like I'm harping on the game, but I'm just kind of giving my experience. I really do enjoy playing it. It's just, I think these hurdles that I'm trying to overcome. So I guess we're going back to a little bit of bashing, and it's the trade system. The trade system in this game is absolutely horrendous. I know it was this way in Path of Exile 1. People seem to be okay with it then. Maybe not. I wasn't super into that community. Path of Exile 2, with all the new people coming in the community that are used to like an actual, like a trading system, like an auction house, like in, RuneScape or World of Warcraft, they come to, Path of Exile, and, there's an in-game aspect. So the in-game aspect is when you actually trade the player. And I feel like I rarely see people actually using trade. So if you're unfamiliar, and this is also a tip, but it's going to cost you a little bit of money, you can post your items in your stash tab to the website. And let me back up a little bit, if I didn't already say this, that you have to trade through a website. So what you do, I don't know if there's another way of getting onto the website without buying the stash tab, by the way. You might be able to manually do it, but that's a total pain in the ass. So you can buy a premium stash tab, and then you can set that stash tab to public. And then from there, the items you put inside of that public stash tab, you can right click, and then you can set the amount you want to sell it for. And that just seems kind of ridiculous. Why can't we just put it in an auction house? I understand it's early access still, and maybe that will be a thing, but they never did it in Path of Exile 1. Maybe now they have more resources. I'm not entirely sure. I know it would require probably a major overhaul as it's a brand new system, but I feel like it would be beneficial for the game. Now, I understand when companies want you to, well, it's like they want to force player interaction, right? So they force you to trade, right? Because this builds a community. Okay, but the ultimate reality is you go on the website, you search for an item, okay, and then they have the thing on the website where you can click direct whisper, and if you're in the game, it'll directly whisper the person, and wow, that's a great player interaction, hooray, our players are talking to each other. But a portion of the time, it's either in a different language, so we're not going to talk anyways, and a lot of the time, I message these people,
what do you mean, you people?
And you never even get anything back. I've seen other people also message these people, and they list it for a certain price, and then when they go to whisper them, they say, no, the price has changed, bub. Screw you. You don't get the price I put on the website. And, that just kind of seems like how trade is. I don't know if they have plans to fix it. I think they should, but, ultimately it's their decision. It's their game. That being said, I think this game is going to be probably game of the year for 2025. This is the most solid base of a game, an ARPG game that I've seen in the last, it has to be 10 years maybe or so. Right? Because we all thought Diablo 3 was going to be sweet. Crap. We thought Diablo 4 was going to be sweet. Crap. So this game base, I think, is going to put in a great foundation for their team to expand on for the next year, few years to come. Easily. I was going to say 10 years. I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows? Would I recommend this game to you guys and a friend? Absolutely. So please check it out. Come and play with me. Comment, subscribe, do all the things that you want to do. And let me know if you ended up buying the game and or if you want to play. Thanks. We'll talk to you later.